So where were you when this all happened?
When I actually heard the explosions, I was walking through the Boston Common, which is the large park, and that's basically at the end of the marathon setup. You've got the finish line, and then they've got drinks and the medals and all that stuff. And I had made my way through all of that and exited out the back and was walking across the Boston Common when I heard the two loud noises. It literally stopped everybody in the tracks in the park. Everybody turned and looked back in the direction of the noise. But from that vantage point, we really couldn't see anything. We really didn't have any view of the actual location of it.
So then what happened next? Were there fire and EMS and police running everywhere, or what did you see happen next?
We were actually walking through the park to try to catch the subway, and as we got to the top of the subway station, there were all of a sudden we started seeing EMS and fire all rushing through the city. And my wife Tracy and I made the comment that there must have been something that happened, and so we proceeded down to try to catch the subway back to our hotel. And as we were waiting for the subway to arrive, police came through the station screaming and yelling for everyone to evacuate immediately, get out of the station immediately. We're shutting it down. So everybody started running and scurrying up the stairs to get back outside.
Did they ever indicate that there was a bomb? Did they say anything about a bomb to you?
At that point, when we asked them, when we all got up top, we asked the police officers what had happened or what was happening, and they said the only thing that they know is that there was two explosions. So at that time, they just said there was two explosions, and they had shut the green line down, and part of the red line was being shut down as well.
So how were they shuttling people out of the city then to get away from all this?
Well, we ended up walking, and I'm going to guess probably maybe 10 or 15 blocks to get to South Station. And at South Station, subways were running from there. And I was staying a little further out of the city, so I actually was able to get on a subway to get to the hotel.
Now, did you see anyone injured? Did you see blood? Anybody trying to get to the hospital?
I did not. No, not from where I was at that point. I didn't see anybody. When we got back to the hotel was when I haven't even changed. I haven't showered. I haven't done anything from the race right now. I've just been watching the TV, all the local footage of it and everything. It was the first I've seen of it, and it's pretty scary. Just the fact that my wife Tracy was actually waiting for me to watch me finish on the same side of the street that the explosions happened. And so I put her in harm's way had it been 30 minutes later.
And so explain, now looking back, where exactly did those explosions happen then for people who weren't?
The one explosion that is getting the most coverage here locally actually happened, and it's probably because there's footage of it, happened right before you actually crossed the finish line. I mean, it was probably 25, maybe 25 yards from the finish line.
So what was the mood of Boston like once you were leaving to try and get out of the city back to your hotel? What were the emotions of people around you?
It was a lot of confusion. Not everybody understood what was going on. A lot of people on cell phones talking, and like I said, the police officers told us that there was two explosions. But as we were walking through the city, start to hear stories on the street, people that have been talking to other people, and everybody stopping and trying to figure out what was going on, and we had heard stories of explosions at the finish line of the marathon and everything like that.
So, I mean, you were a half hour before this happened. Is it shaken? Has it shaken you? How are you feeling?
especially since I've gotten back to the hotel and actually watched the footage. It really bothers me so much just to know that my wife was on that side of the road, and obviously, those things don't go on a time clock. It could have happened any time.
Are you, anything else that, I mean, obviously we weren't there, anything else that you saw that maybe we should be aware of? Was there any indication that something like this might happen from your standpoint?
No. I mean, it was a really good day for the marathon. I mean, everybody was real excited about it. They had been talking about 27,000 runners coming through. The weather conditions were good, so everybody was pretty excited about it. And, it is Boston. It's the greatest marathon there is, and to reach that point and cross that finish line is one of the greatest accomplishments in running. And to have it, I mean, just to have something like this happen at that location, it's awful. I can't tell you how upset I am and how sad I feel. My prayers are out to all the injured people and the families.
I think the interesting thing about this is that so many healthy people who live their lives to run and exercise are now injured from this event. Has that crossed your mind, that thought? That
I guess the one thing that I think, I'm not sure, I haven't heard of any actual runners that have actually been injured. The people that they're reporting on locally here, it looks like it's more of the spectators. So actually, because from watching the one footage that they've continually to show, it doesn't appear that any runners were actually affected. They even had to knock down the scaffolding and the signage and things like that to try to get over to the location. So that didn't even really, I guess, wasn't even affected by the explosion. It was all of the spectators that are around it. And I mean, that area, because it is the finish line, has some of the largest crowds around. I mean, it's a good 5 or 6 deep people just standing around watching and cheering and everything. So there's a lot of people in that area.